Welcome back to the Truer podcast. I am your host, Katrina Slade, and I am your intuition mentor, the founder of Becoming True. And I am here today to talk to you about how to use intention to attract miracles. And this is something I have a lot of experience with. I have done this over and over again in my life, many, many times. In fact, for years, I've been working with this. And I've been observing how it plays out in my life, how I can teach it to you. And I'm here today to talk to you all about this. So let's get started. I meditated before coming on here to record, and I was shown that the main phrase actually that came to me in meditation was a phrase I love and I really resonate with. It's where focus goes, energy flows. And this is true about attracting miracles using your intention. I could also say using your attention, right? Attention and intention are interesting because they almost mean the same thing, but attention feels to me more like it's looking outwards, and intention feels like it's more looking inwards, right? So the inwards focus is really important in this ability to attract miracles. And something I want to share with you about this is it's really important to get to the place where you can begin attracting miracles, is shifting your perspective from the tendency to want to control life, to want to control the things, the outcomes in your life. So one of the most important points I want to make to you before I get into my stories about all the miracles I've manifested in my life is it's so important to learn to shift from the trying and the efforting and the controlling mental patterns, behaviors, mindsets into a more state of being where you can be attuning to, opening up to, radiating outwards and flowing with the flow of life and with this miracle energy that we're going to be talking about. I was shown that the tendency that most of us have, it's a human thing because again, I feel like everything I talk about goes back to survival. It feels more safe when we're in control, when we're not out of control, when we feel like we know what's coming. So it's a human thing, but I was shown that that tendency to try and control life and effort and try, this is very much like the hustle and grind culture. That is lack mindset. That is having no trust that you will be taken care of. It's like saying, I can't rely on anything or anyone except for myself. When in fact, you don't have control over the entire environment that we're in, right? You don't have control about what's going on in the world or dynamics in politics and in all sorts of things. Of course, we don't have control over those things, but you do have control about where your focus goes. As I say that, I don't even like to say we have control over that because that's another way of controlling. It's more of we can choose how our attention is being directed. And I'm not saying 100% of the time because we have human minds and they're doing their own thing, but we can use intention. This is where intention comes in. We can choose where our intention goes, and that can be directed in a way that very much opens you up to miracles. And I want to share a couple of stories about this. I actually have so many stories, I can't even decide. Well, I can, but it was hard to narrow down which stories to share of examples of how I've used this and how I've created miracles using this in my life. And after I tell a story about this, it's a very important story, I'm going to give you 4 steps to follow. 4 steps to use intention to attract miracles. But I feel like this topic is so big and so rich, and I really wanted to go deeper with this. As I was meditating on this, I was inspired, I was guided to offer a free masterclass on how to use intention to attract miracles. And I'm feeling in the moment, I haven't 100% nailed it down at the time of this recording, but I'm feeling I'm going to offer it early in January sometime for the new year. So it's almost like a workshop masterclass where I'm going to include a group reading of how reading the energy of the group, how we can go forward throughout the year, looking at the year ahead, becoming an attractor of miracles. And I will guide a guided practice or a meditation to help you really attune yourself to this. So this is going to be a free masterclass I'm offering. And if you're interested, there's going to be information in the show notes. And yeah, I'm really excited about this because there's so much here I want to get through, but this is just one podcast episode. Okay, so when I first started becoming aware of this, at the time, I was a full-time artist. So years ago, when I was going through a really major spiritual awakening, I was practicing and experimenting with all of this. And I had such an incredible result I just want to share with you because I really want to show you what's possible when you follow the steps. I have 4 steps I'm going to share with you in a moment. But at the time, I was a full-time artist. And I was applying for grants from the government because I wanted to get funding to produce a body of work that I was inspired to create. And I was also just exploring the idea of manifesting abundance. And I was praying every day. Prayer is a way of using intention. I was praying every day or saying, I don't know what to call them, prayers, I guess, to the divine, which is my word for God, the universe, source. And I was offering myself as how can I be of service? How can I reach my highest potential and be of service? And I was also trying to see how I could attract money. I was an artist and I was like, I'd love to get more money here. And so I was imagining like maybe I can call in 2 large sums of money because I felt like one was likely going to be an artist grant because I had pretty good success in that department is getting grants. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to call in 2 instead of just the one. I'm going to call in 2 large sums of money. And I was really surrendered in how they came. I was like, maybe it's going to be the grant. Maybe it's not. I did follow through on applying and I put myself up for the possibility of receiving the grant. But I was feeling really inspired to just see what was out there. Every day I would just say a prayer, which was like sending the intention out into the universe, into the field, that I was open to receive 2 large sums of money that were associated with positive feelings. I didn't want to like my husband to die and receive his life insurance or something. I was open to receive 2 large sums of money associated with positive feelings. And I didn't know how they were going to come to me. I was so excited. I would feel the gratitude and the excitement as if I had received those. That's a pretty foundational manifesting technique. And I did get one of the artist grants. So yay, I got, I don't know, $5,000 or something. Most of that, or maybe half of that, covers the materials and the time and all that. I also was shocked to receive an inheritance out of the blue. Out of the blue, my bachelor uncle passed away, and he had a lot of money because we all thought he was going to live a lot longer. He was actually very healthy, except for his brain, which had dementia. But suddenly there was a passing. Suddenly I received money I wasn't expecting. It was a huge amount of money. It was almost $100,000 Canadian. So that was a huge shock and incredible moment in my life that I received a large sum of money associated with positive feelings. I mean, not that I wanted him to die, but he was really far gone with dementia, so it was kind of a blessing, to be honest, because nobody wants to live like that. And it emboldened me to feel, oh, this is real. I can do this. And then COVID happened, and we were all in quarantine. I was really getting into my spiritual awakening then. I was developing my intuition. I was meditating a lot. And I was just open for abundance in all forms. I was starting to shift from just money to abundance in all forms. So I said my daily abundance prayers, and I was calling in abundance, and I was asking to serve. I was asking, how can I be of service? And this was in 2021, like a year into the COVID pandemic. One day, I got a phone call, and it was this artist residency that I had applied to like over a year before COVID. I had applied to this artist residency, which was in New Brunswick. It's called Kingsbrae International Residence of the Arts, so KIRA, that's the acronym. And I got offered a spot in this very prestigious, very lucrative international artist residency out of the blue, because I had applied over a year before that. But the timing sort of clicked in place. And that ended up being the most miraculous month of my life. I got to live in a historic mansion for a month. And this is a real mansion. And I got to be one of 6 artists. I think there were 6 of us. We got to live in this mansion together for the whole month. We got paid for our time. It was just a little stipend. It wasn't like we were getting paid an hourly wage or anything, but we got paid to be there. And there was a chef, a gourmet chef, cooking us 2 meals a day for the entire month. We just had to take care of our own breakfast, but they gave us lunch and dinner every day. And the most important thing to me was the time. I had time to really dive into my creativity, and it was in a garden. There was gardens everywhere. It was a public garden thing. The residency was in the public gardens, and I spent that month really attuning myself to the divine. I was having such incredible awakening experiences. So many synchronicities happened. For example, I was meditating in my studio daily, and I started to see light differently. I started to see the photons in the air. I started to see the particles in the air it's called the unified field, the quantum field. And on my birthday that happened that year, that month I was there, I had my birthday. On that day, I was gifted an eagle feather from an eagle. It just dropped right in my path as I was walking on the big open field. So many miracles happened to me that month. And that time and space allowed me the capacity to get out of my day-to-day, like normal routines and duties and tasks. Didn't have to cook for myself. Didn't have to do a lot besides be in the state of receiving. I was receiving every day beautiful meals, beautiful experiences. And that was such a miracle for me. It really allowed me to awaken and expand my awareness into what I'm doing now. It was a fundamental step in getting to where I am now. And it came out of the blue because I was attuning myself to be open to receive. And I was not trying to control how. I was not trying to control what. I was just opening to the universe. If I had said, I want to get this one thing and that's what I want, that's closing myself off to all the other magic that can be possible in the world, right? And I had no idea I would be called over a year later to join this international artist residency and I get to receive all of this abundance. It was truly incredible. So, receiving the two large sums of money and receiving the beautiful experience at the artist residency. And I have so many more examples, like how we got 14 offers on our house when we sold it recently, and so many examples of abundance and blessings and miracles. I'm going to do a whole episode about about health, because that's a whole nother topic. This isn't just about receiving money, right? This is about opening ourselves up to the miracles of the universe, to the miracles of the divine, that we can, it's in our potential. The potential is out there. We just have to open and attune ourselves to it. So, with that said, I'm going to get into the steps in a moment. But before I do, I want to share this quick message that I was shown in my meditation. This attuning to miracles, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. I might make it sound that way, which is not my intention. To get to the point where you are able to attract miracles in this way, it's an initiation. It really initiates you into your depths. And what I mean by that is it can lead you on that path of expanding, maturing, and growing. And that means things will rise up within you to be seen. Unhealed wounding, unhealed emotions from childhood or from ancestral or even past lives. These things can come up to be seen, to be acknowledged, to be felt and healed, to be transmuted. There's actually a previous episode about shadow work and the golden shadow, and I'm going to link that here if you want to do a little side venture into that, because I don't want to get into that too deeply right here. I did a whole episode about that recently, or a while back. I've talked about this before. It's like the hero's journey. The hero doesn't become the hero by skipping over a puddle and saying, "Oh, look at me, I'm done." The hero is initiated into the inner underworld and into the path of becoming their highest potential of self. And that includes trials and tribulations. That includes facing wounding. It includes expanding out of the comfort zone, which is always uncomfortable because it's outside of your comfort zone. So all of this to say is attuning to miracles. It's not just of the, I'm quoting this here, of the light. It goes into the depths. In the depths, I'm putting my hand on my heart right now. If you're not watching on YouTube, I'm putting my hand on my heart because the depths is within you, and it's not just out there in the quantum. It's really within you. Okay, let's get into the steps now. I have 4 steps. Of course, you can expand or contract these as big or as little as you want. But if you follow these 4 steps, I don't want to say guarantee, I can almost guarantee that you're going to be really attuning yourself to become an attractor of miracles, of miracle energy. And in another word, or another way of saying that is you're going to be an energetic match to miracles coming into your life. So let's get into this. Step 1 of using intention to attract miracles is letting go of the need to know and the need to control. Like I said earlier, I kind of already talked about this, but the need to know what's coming up in your life, the need to know how things are going to turn out, or the need to control things. That is lack mentality, meaning you don't trust that you're going to be okay. And that is the exact opposite of attuning to miracles, of becoming an attractor of miracles. If you don't trust, that's a state of fear. So lack mentality is a state of fear. You cannot attract high vibrational energy into your life if you're in a state of fear. You can if you're being courageous. Courageous means I'm going to go out of my comfort zone and try something that I've never tried before, or I feel called to face my sexuality wounds, or I feel called to learn about shadow work. It takes courage to try something that is not in your comfort zone. That's not the same thing as fear in terms of this need to control, being from lack mentality. Does that make sense? So step 1 is letting go. This is spiritual surrender. I also have a podcast about this, the magic of spiritual surrender. Maybe I can link that here too. Listen to that podcast episode, and that's going to be step 1 for you, okay? Step 1 is letting go of the need. And it's hard. It's hard to let go because it feels like a trust fall with the universe. It feels like a leap into the unknown. Let's say you want to change careers, but you don't know what's going to happen. So you're trying to micromanage the universe by trying to line up everything exactly how you want it to be. Whereas that's cutting you off from the expansive miracles that can potentially come into your life if you're opening and releasing the control. Step 2, I was shown get focused inwards, the connection to this divine within you. A lot of us, we think about source or God up there, our highest self or our spirit guides up there. It's actually inside of us. I know it's a little bit of a mind-bending thought, but it's actually inside of us. It really is. We are connected to that higher power, the higher consciousness inside of us and out there, right? We're all interconnected. Everything is one. There's this idea of oneness in spirituality. So getting focused inwards, because you can't use your intention to attract miracles if you're not connected within. And I have an example here of streaming services, like streaming music or streaming TV or shows, YouTube, whatever. If you're listening to this, you're streaming right now. So imagine the device you're listening or watching this on. If it's not connected to the network, it can't receive the signal and stream, right? So our consciousness is a part of that, and our physical body is like an attuning device for that as well. So if we can bring our consciousness within us, we can become open to that channel of miracles coming into our life. And hopefully it will become more and more accessible to us. So it's within you. Get focused inwards. And I am going to teach you more about this in the masterclass that I already mentioned. There's going to be a guided meditation, a guided practice, and more instructions on how to do this. This is just a quick little summary I can share on a podcast episode. So if you want to sign up for that, it's free. Sign up, link in the show notes. I would love to see you there. If you can't be there live, there will be a replay for everybody who registered, so don't worry about it. Okay, so that was step 2, get focused inwards. All right, step 3 for using intention to attract miracles. Intention meaning inwards, right? So step 3 is connect to the gratitude of the miracle. you don't know exactly how. Like, I didn't know I was going to be invited to that incredible month-long miraculous artist residency. I didn't know I was going to get invited to that. I didn't know. I didn't know I was going to receive an inheritance from an uncle. I didn't know he was going to pass. I didn't know any of that. But I did know how I wanted to feel. And I wanted to feel abundant. I wanted to feel expansive. And I wanted to feel so grateful because I had so many miracles in my life. So I was tapping into that within me. I was bringing up that gratitude within me. I was generating and creating that within me. I'm so grateful for all the beautiful miracles in my life. I'm so grateful for the abundance that flows into my life every day with ease. There's lots of mantras you can say, there's lots of things you can say to sort of get yourself into that state of gratitude. Gratitude is actually magic. I'm not joking, because I have so many stories to share about all of this, and really big ones, right? Like, wow, big miracles came into my life. So, connecting to the gratitude of the miracle, but not the how. You don't need to know how. And if you try to attach to the how, you're attaching to one particular outcome, and it's not gonna work. It's like you're trying to stream, this is a stupid metaphor, but you're trying to stream Amazon Prime Video through a phone that's only attached to YouTube. There's no Prime Video app. So how are you able to stream it? Does that make sense? It's like you can't close off your options. You have to be open to the infinite intelligence of the universe, because you, in your human mind, don't know how the miracles can come. And don't even try to direct them, because that's not going to work. If you can open to the gratitude of the miracle, I'm so grateful I'm receiving the abundance. I'm so grateful that I'm receiving large sums of money. I'm so grateful that I'm receiving the love that I'm desiring, or the aligned career, or the aligned job that I'm trying to get. Do you see what I mean? You don't have to know what the job is. You don't have to know who the partner is or how you're going to meet them. You don't need to know how. You just need to be open to receive the gratitude of the abundance of the miracle, right? Because when you are connecting to that gratitude, it's like you are now sending a signal out. You're not just open to receive the signal, you are now sending it out, and that is how you become the energetic match to the miracle. Being open to receive and not limiting the potentials, open to receive the infinite intelligence of the universe, and sending that signal out of gratitude. Okay, and that's something I'm going to guide us in when I do my free masterclass in January. So sign up for that. Even if you can't make it live, you're going to want the replay. Okay, step 4, the final step, is consistency. Trust and consistency. You have to do this, I'm not going to say daily, that's a lot, but you can. But it's not something you do once and then the next day your focus goes back to complaining. I'm going back to the start of the podcast episode when I say where focus goes, energy flows. So consistently focusing your intention, your attention on these things we've been talking about consistently. I was going to say constantly, but that's not quite it. Consistently. So it's like you're tuning the instrument. You are attuning your body, your mind, your energy to be able to receive the signal that you're desiring and send out the signal. It's a two-way street, I guess. The signals coming, receiving, and broadcasting out. It's actually more of like a radiating. You're radiating the frequency that vibrates at the same frequency as the miracle. And so you're attracting that. Like the two magnets that go together. The magnets are attracted to each other because they're a match for that attraction. And you can become that in your body, in your energy, in your intention, in all the ways, right? So consistency, and that means trusting. You cannot control the timeline on this. You cannot control the how, all the details, but you can control your intention. Where is my intention? Is it kind of lost and I'm just focused on judging people or feeling sorry for myself or complaining? Because those are all ways to repel miracles, right? It's like you're repelling them. Talking about magnets, it's like when you flip the magnet around and it repels the other magnet. So that's not what we want. We want to be open to magnetize the miracles in, and that is using your intention with the gratitude, with connecting inwards, not needing to control the outcome. Okay? Is there anything else? Those were all my notes from my meditation. Let me put my notebook down. And I'm going to see if there's anything that wants to come through as a final message for all of the people who are listening and watching this episode. I'm getting the message of expectations. I guess understanding that it's possible for you. Expecting that I can do this. I can use my intention to attract miracles. It's possible for me. I can do it. Right? That's a good attitude to have, because a lot of people might be doubting, well, how does this even work? This isn't real. It's not like a measurable science, although I think in a lot of cases it is, but it's just not mainstream. There's a lot of doubt that can creep in. I don't know if it's even real. That's, again, gonna be like repelling the outcomes you're trying to create. So if you can come into this with the expectation, no, that's not the word. What's the word I'm trying to feel? Assumption. That's the word I'm receiving some kind of word then, and I'm like, wait, what is it? What is it? Assumption. If you can come into this assuming that it's totally possible for you, that you can do this, that you can use your intention to attract miracles, that's going to set you up so well to receive miracles. I mean, what can I say? I know there's a universal law called the law of assumption. I think this is what I'm describing here. The law of assumption, if you assume it, it can become your reality. If you assume, oh, this is inevitable. It's inevitable that if I do this consistently, I have the purest of intentions. It's not like you're trying to cheat someone else out of whatever they're having in their life, so you're gaining, no, of course we're doing this with pure intentions to attract miracles that are for our highest good. That's another point I guess I want to make. Every time I do any intuitive work, any work with intention, with energy, anytime I'm reading energies or receiving messages, even like I said, I meditated before this episode and received some messages. Every time I do any of this, I always set the intention, the highest outcomes. I call in the highest outcomes for this meditation, or I call in the highest outcomes for this prayer I'm going to say about abundance. I'm always attuning to the highest outcomes because I don't know what the highest outcomes are. So I'm just sort of putting my hands up and saying, I'm surrendering my own human ego's ideas of what needs to happen here, and I'm calling in the highest outcomes, whatever they are. Because like I said, it could be completely out of the blue and you might not expect it. Like I received that beautiful month of miracles at the artist residency. I was shocked. Okay. So if you're interested in learning more about this, like getting more in-depth instruction and receiving a more in-depth group reading about magnetizing miracles, then join my free masterclass at the start of the year. It's going to be, I just received the instruction, the inner guidance to create this, so I haven't built it out already, but I feel really inspired to do this masterclass at the start of the year, and it's going to be about the year ahead, almost like becoming, what is this? I'm looking at my notebook. Using intention to attract miracles for the year ahead, right? And I'm going to read the energy of the group and help us get more specific information, more specific guidance about all of that. There's going to be a beautiful meditation and guided practice to help you follow these 4 steps that I just outlined. So if you're interested in that, sign up. It's free. And also, of course, there is early enrollment for the Truer School of Intuition and Self-Knowledge. It is a school I am creating to best serve. I'm always asking to be of service. How can I best serve? And I'm really feeling inspired about this because this is holistic intuition. This is not how to meet your spirit guide and then meeting them and saying, okay, done. This is intuition for becoming the best version of yourself. Intuition for healing the parts of you that are ready to be healed. It's intuition development that holistically helps you body, mind, and soul. It helps you live guided by your soul. I could say so much about this, but if you're interested, if that piques your interest, you can sign up for early enrollment. And if you do that, you're going to get a course I created it for the new year. It's called the Truer Year, and it helps you reflect on the past year, release what needs to go, transmute what needs to be transmuted, and then planting the new seeds for what's to come. It's really a beautiful experience. I think it's like 3 or 4 modules, so it's not just a little workshop. It's more in depth than that. And you get that as a bonus for free for joining early enrollment for the Truer School, the Truer School of Intuition and Self-Knowledge. By the way, you also get access to the Truer Library, which is my library of meditations, energy healings, guided practices, and you can start getting involved in that instantly. It's going to be amazing. Okay, that is it for today. I love you, and I would love to hear your thoughts. If you have any comments or thoughts, please comment, share, like, subscribe, all the things. I love you. Bye. One more thing. I just want to tell you, I love you, and I'm proud of you for doing the inner work, for showing up, and for choosing a truer life. If this episode resonated with you, if it helped you access a deeper truth within yourself, then please share it with someone you love, because the world needs more of us living our truer lives. This has been a Truer Media production. The Truer podcast is created and produced by me, Katrina Slade. Music by Frequently Asked Music. Wordmark by Annika Samples of Incandescent Creative. Cover photography by Lucinda Richard. Time for the really short legal talk. This podcast is presented solely for educational purposes. I am your soul sister. I am a spiritual guide, but I am not a licensed physician, psychologist, or other qualified medical professional. I hope to see you again.